welcome.
Thank you, mate.
For everyone watching,
Good to
I'm
be here.
Dave Hamlet, and this is TRX Nathan. No, I'm joking.
TRX
Probably
Nathan. That's probably what I'm known as
TRX
at the
Nate.
moment. Yeah, TRX
Nate
Nate.
from TRX.
Nate from TRX or Nate.
Nate.
Yeah, TRX, Mr. TRX UK. I know.
Mr. UK.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Would you like a drink?
I'm all right, thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, I had one of them earlier.
What did you have?
That exact one.
Hydro fuel.
Yeah.
Why did you drink that, Nath?
I needed just, when you're midway through the afternoon, you need a little kick in a natural way.
In a healthy manner.
Yeah.
Look, jokes aside, I'm pouring this because it looks great on camera. But I may have had a few sherbets last night.
Yeah, so you told me. It was all worth it,
Well, it
right?
was all
You were
worth
doing,
it, yeah.
doing an event,
The
right?
Train all the way back. But,
Yeah.
Look, super casual. I think for those who have watched the podcast, probably not many because we've only done about 3. The aim of it, and we've known each other for a while now, is just to engage with people, brands in the health and wellness space to share knowledge. Hopefully, this will provide some inspiration. So, today's guest is Nathan from TRX. Someone we met, like a year ago, maybe?
It was about a year, yeah. I think through Marvin, my colleagues, friends, Marvin Burton.
Mr. Burton, he's got a lot to answer for.
He does, yeah.
He's a hell of a lad.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know Marv Burton?
I don't know yet. I haven't found anyone that he doesn't know or doesn't know him. So, yeah, shout out to Marv.
Well, then, Marv, in fact, I'm going to invite him on. We've got Rachel coming on
Oh, have you?
in a few weeks. She's one of our ambassadors.
Oh, okay.
Group exercise, and I think those two are pretty legendary in that space, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. For the amount of years that they've done it and the followers that they've
Saying
got.
they're old, or
I'm not saying they're old. I'm just saying that they've got some experience.
they've been doing it a while.
Yeah, they've been doing it a while. But Rachel's great. I mean, I've known of Rachel for years, but again, through Marvin, I got introduced to Rachel probably just over a year ago, and she's fully embraced TRX now. She's got some TRX within her facility. She's looking to do TRX Pilates, just all round real good girl. So, yeah.
So for those that don't know, mate, bants aside and all that lols.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself properly, mate. So, and then let the world know. Imagine people watching this don't know what TRX is, despite 20 years.
20 years this year. Yeah, July I think is the official.
Randy
Hetrick. Yeah, so he's a former.
Got a bit fanboyish. I'm obviously people don't know I'm ex-vet, but
yeah,
SEAL Team 6, pretty big deal.
Yeah, pretty good, mate.
Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And then Jack, your new CEO.
Jack Daly, CEO. Yeah.
Also a bit of an entrepreneur here.
Yeah, former Wall Street guy, 25 years.
Baller.
Yeah.
Really nice bloke as well, to be fair.
Yeah, that's it. I think that, the good thing about both of them is that they get amongst it. You see a lot of
unreal
founders, CEOs, even within the fitness industry, that are quite offish in the background, whereas Randy and Jack are front and centre at our events that you've seen, and they're on podcasts all the time.
He's fit as hell, isn't he, Jack?
Jack is a machine.
Jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu, yeah, big fan of jiu-jitsu. So he's involved with a lot of the MMA and jiu-jitsu fighters in the US.
Heard a good story from there about the Nate brothers.
He's very good.
Or the Diaz brothers. Sorry.
Yeah, the Diaz brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he works well with them. And he's just, he's an all-round good guy. He's open, for a CEO that's been so successful with all the stuff that he's done.
That's an understatement.
He's a WhatsApp message away, and he's,
Really?
Yeah. So that's good, and it's different. Randy's always been open, but I suppose that we've had some challenges with TRX with previous ownership. Yeah. And you can just see the difference. Mate, now I know what's a good CEO and what is a shit CEO, let's be honest. So,
yeah, how long have you been there?
6 years in total.
So you'd have been like at the back end of it, falling to shit.
So I was there, front and centre. So I started when Randy was the owner.
Yeah.
But I think there was rumours that he was thinking of selling it on. So I think that was 1 to 2 years within my career. Yeah. And then he sold it.
Yeah.
To a company called Equity 38.
Great. And they just ruined it, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Pretty much.
Investment company. I think they were looking to add value to the company and then sell it on.
Without understanding the value of community.
Yeah, they didn't. And I think a lot of it was to do with COVID, because COVID happened, all commercial gyms shut down. So commercial business just flew off a cliff. But home business went through the roof. And
Perfect.
We generated more money than we had most years. Yeah. And I think the owners, trying to give them a little bit of credit, thought that was going to continue.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen. Not. And they were coming out with SKUs that should never have been involved with. I mean, we brought out Hex dumbbells, which you can get in August, and that's not what TRX is about. So, without going into too much detail, it was a difficult one.
I think we should. I think, look, understand that, like, my endeavours outside of Lyfelinez and stuff, I've got a passion for all things business. I think the fact we've got something here where I think it's a great story where you've got something that was founded literally around the founder, which is a really interesting story to listen to. So, Jamie, it's a bit. Do you watch Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
We've got a Jamie. It's Gaz.
Oh, Gaz.
It's a terrible office joke.
Yeah. But I get it. I listen to Joe. So,
yeah. Jamie. So if you ever need anything, we'll just do the Jamie. Chuck it up, mate.
Oh yeah.
So if we want links in this, Jamie.
Who was you going to ask for? Get Randy.
Yeah, we could put over this. We'll put a picture of Randy, put some links so people can see it, because it is. I really enjoyed the story. It's nice to spend some time with him last year. But more fascinating to the point you talked about is. It's not the product in what it is. It's the community, the culture, the team that he built, which you could, having been quite interested in it, spent time with you and your team.
Yeah.
Randy himself, and understanding how business works, I guess, being a bit more mature and being a passion. I just think it's fascinating. Come straight back in. I joined you guys last year at the summit.
Yep.
There's 200 people at Oxford.
Yeah, roundabout.
Room full of really fit people just smashing it out for 2 days.
Yeah, pretty much.
Me and Jamie Gaz were pretty tired watching. But I just think when you see, I don't know, for any organisation, I've PT'd for many years, to hold the engagement and focus of 200 people for 2 days, mate, was something else. And the energy in the room was banging.
Yeah, appreciate that. I think... TRX have always done summits. I think the first initial one was for our course instructors to kind of give them an upskill, a little bit of a pat on the back, a bit of a community feel. And then both Fraser and Randy found that it was, they've got this big community of people that have done our educational, bought our products. And we weren't really servicing them.
Yeah.
You'd see them in gyms, but not really doing any with them commercially from a brand point of view. So they started to bring the summits out to the masses. And, I was living in Dubai at the time, and we did a TRX summit in Dubai.
Sounds horrendous.
Yeah, it was horrendous. Yeah, worst time of my life.
Yeah.
But anyway, the company that I was also working for did their own event where they would do educational workshops from all different brands. One of the brands was TRX, but they had pretty much everyone. They're still doing a lot of ways. Hyper Ice was there, Les Mills was there. And I just saw that this was a community thing.
Yeah.
So people were coming to upskill, but you had freelance trainers, you had group trainers, you had commercial trainers, you had CEOs coming just to be part of something over a weekend.
Yeah.
Now, at the time, we weren't a direct business in the UK when I first started. We were using distributors. And with the utmost respect for them, they were just selling straps and moving on to the next customer. There was no education. There was no, this is what we do.
The important bit.
So I came in and I was... the summits are important. We need to do one in the UK.
Yep.
And even Randy was, I'm not sure it's going to work in the UK because we've not really got the community. But we did one, and it was very, really successful. And kind of since then, we've grown to now doing them all over the world.
I mean, just to be clear, that one with you pulling people from Europe.
Yeah, we had about 13 countries represented. Yeah, we had someone fly from Saudi Arabia, Melbourne in Australia, just to come and spend some time with us.
Yeah, there was a little guy from Australia. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, CJ.
CJ.
Yeah, shout out to CJ. He's a good lad.
He's a top bloke.
Yeah, good lad. But I mean, the point is I don't just necessarily think that now we're evolving to be not just a TRX event, but a general fitness event. So we bring partners on like yourself, high price there. So not only can people come and learn some stuff, because fundamentally it is an educational weekend, but you get to work out, you get to meet people.
So it's open to anyone?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So we'll put a bit up here, Jamie. We'll put a bit up on the actual video after.
I appreciate that.
We've got some content that we filmed from last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess if you are an instructor or you're even interested in the movie, it's just a good 2 days to get to have a good social.
Yeah.
Like 1.5 pretty much in terms of physical days, I guess, of where you're getting to do all sorts of functional movements-based training. Like I said, I think seeing the Hyper Ice stuff and what them the leggings they have.
Oh, the Normatex.
The Normatec leggings and stuff is because we all know now as well recovery's.
Yeah, recovery is vital. And
90% of what you do.
It blends so well into what we're trying to do as well. From a functional training point of view, we always focus on the quality of movement. We feel that we're the leaders in movement. And Spencer training in particular can be so versatile for all different levels. But also there's the other side of the recovery element, and Hyperice we feel sitting nicely with what we're trying to do, and it just bounces off quite well. And that's what we try and do with all of our partners. We're never going to bring a competitive in, but also on the flip side, we don't really compete with anyone.
No.
So, we can be quite versatile in who we work with.
Created a category.
Yeah, so I think that's an advantage for working with TRX, because we can bring other partners to the event, so they get to see our community front and centre, but also it elevates our event, let's be honest, having those experts in.
I think you just look at when, I always use Tesco as a bit of a example, when they started expanding the store, so it did more than just food.
Yeah.
Clothes, coffee,
yeah.
destination. I think fitness become a bit more of a movement, I think. Certainly for Lyfelinez, we talk about health and wellness. I don't really like the word fitness. I think that can be quite, you could turn off a large portion of the population, I believe, which should be trying to encourage to move, I think, and this is bang on what you do. So I guess elevator pitch, if you had to sort of just briefly let someone know, what is TRX? How long's it been about? And
so it's been around for about 20 years.
Yep.
As we talked about, founded and created by Randy Hetrick. So he created the very first suspension trainer. So we have a great point that people feel all suspension training is TRX, even though it's not a TRX, but that's also a representation of how well.
You'll give us that picture, because we all saw the picture of the original one. I mean, it's come a long way.
Yeah, it's the very first one. I think it was a jiu-jitsu belt and a bungee cord
on the back of a boat, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think it was a boat or something like that, where he hooked it up around an anchor point and started doing some power pulls. And then the rest is history. Then 20 years later, we are where we are. Most people would know us as a suspension training company. That's our hero product.
Yep.
But also now I feel we're a fully fledged functional training company. So we have all the tools that you expect, some that you wouldn't. So the RIP trainer, for example, which was created alongside Pete Holman, that helped create that alongside Randy. We purchased Wybell last year from an inventor in Australia. That's a 3-in-1, so dumbbell, med ball, so on and so forth. Education company, front and centre as well. We are called TRX Training. So again, we're not the type of company to just sell products and say thanks very much. We like to educate people, but it's not just a case of, let's say, an equipment education where we're just showing you how to set it up, and then the next 7 hours we're just going through as many exercises as possible. We're a coaching philosophy, so hopefully, and the feedback that we have is always positive, that people come away as a better coach. They understand their bodies, they understand their clients a little bit more, and they happen to know how to use a suspension trainer. We've got our events, so we're global around that. And then also the podcast as well. You've been on the podcast. And again, it's not just talking about TRX all day, every day, because people get bored of that very quickly. But knowing where our lane is and saying, well, how can we add value to what we do by bringing in experts such as yourself when it comes to hydration? We've talked to the military about mental health and things like that. So
fire service now?
Fire service, with Pete, which is a good guy, very open, very honest.
Yep.
So I feel my role is more, even though education is fundamental, what we do, it's more the experience around TRX.
Yep.
I can probably officially tell you now exclusively. We haven't even talked about this on our own podcast yet.
Exclusive.
So make sure that...
Do some cool shit.
We're actually doing the very first TRX retreat.
No way.
In Tuscany in October, and that is a retreat, as you would know, a retreat with TRX kind of.
So is this open?
Anyone can attend.
Nice.
It's in Tuscany. It's going to be for 5 days, and it is going to be cooking classes, wine tasting, excursions, some TRX movement involved, some meditation, some free time.
How many days?
5.
Decent.
Yeah.
I'm in.
But again, that's an experience that we know we can create. We're giving that a go. And again, it's just not what fitness companies do generally, or suppliers of fitness. No. They don't tend to do.
So on the education piece, to walk us through, because I was blown away by the education community you've got. So the instructors globally. What's that look like?
So in terms of course instructors, people that deliver our education for us, we have around about 330 around the world. In terms of people that have done our education, you're probably talking around 350,000 now globally. 300 that have done at least one of our courses.
Over 20 years.
Over 20, I'd say 18, because education kind of comes second after the product.
It's not a bad run that for any business.
No. And all we've done is added to it. We've evolved the education over the years, but then we just keep adding to it. And a lot of it. And again, I think this is the power of the community. They come to us and say, well, I've started to use a suspension trainer for Pilates or yoga. Well, that's brilliant. You know, we don't necessarily have thought
it's
of
blending
that.
into other things.
Yeah, it's blending it in, and that's again the power of the community. So, you know, as well as us providing stuff, they come to us and say, "Have you ever thought about trying it with this?" Which is great.
But function movement is one of our core key pillars from a brand perspective, which is where the relationship between our brands just seemed to work quite well.
Yeah,
I think it's a secret to longevity.
Absolutely.
That, and which we know more and more is muscle.
Yeah.
So the more you've got and the longer you can hold on to it, the longer you're likely to live. It's a fairly good indicator, which is mad. Muscle, I think, 5-10 years ago, 10's probably a stretch, 5 was still demonised as like...
Yeah, just for men, you go in there, you lift some dumbbells.
Sweaty, yeah, just like no one's allowed in there, steroids and all the rest of it. Whereas now it's like, actually, there's a lot of evidence to say it's probably a bit of a turnkey solution to help them live a bit longer.
It's good that the evidence is out, but when you actually think about it, kind of like it makes sense, 100%. And it's so simple. Like, you know, people as they get older, you know full well the muscle starts degenerating. You know, they have trouble getting off down because of the sedentary lifestyle.
Yep.
But those that are moving on a regular basis, you know, they're still keeping their muscles going, even though they're degenerating. But they're fighting that, even though you're never going to eradicate it. So, you know, it's always been there.
It's crazy, isn't it? We talked about this yesterday on the train. I went back from London when I was down there with some lads. Adversity, challenge is a route to provides the benefit we seek, like comfort, things.
Well, stress has got a massive stigma to it, and and rightly so in a lot of ways. But a certain amount of stress is always beneficial for you. And I think as a lifestyle, we've got too comfortable. We always go for the comfort.
Yep.
And so I think, you know, while strength training in particular has got more involved, I think even looking at cold water therapy as an example, that's
here's
just gone through the roof.
So both Gaz and I are ex-vets, so river crossings and that was pretty normal.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
when your mum used to say, don't go outside, you'll catch a cold?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, everyone's getting in a puddle now and sat outside the back patio, mint. And there's like loads of health benefits, crazy.
Yeah.
But so the other thing I was watching yesterday, Jimmy Carr's got a new thing with
Netflix.
Steve. Well, it's well funny.
Yeah,
he's talking about pre-jokes about getting cancelled. He's not prepared, but he's got Stephen Bartlett podcast, which I listened on the train.
Oh, okay.
So good, and it talks about comfort. So the point you just mentioned, and they're talking about when that really changed, and how we've probably got a real problem in the West of being completely disillusioned of just how good we have it, and so focused on the divisive nature of some of the topics that people talk about. And the real reason at this point was they blamed, like Jimmy Carr kind of nailed it down, saying well, the hot shower probably changed things 20 years ago. You think you couldn't get a hot shower? That's mad. What do you mean you couldn't get a hot shower? But then you think all these small steps then start to push us into a much more comfortable life. Like every morning now, I'll just do the last 30 seconds of the shower, make it cold.
Yeah.
You do get used to it, but you just feel a ton better to start the day rather than getting all warm. And I do sauna most nights, 20 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
And they talk about that's a good setup for going to bed.
Yeah.
You've probably got a day the wrong way around, getting out, have a nice hot shower, and trundle off to work.
True, but that I think Jimmy's made a good point in there. But I think there's more to it than just the warm showers. But I think just generally every invention or every innovation is tried to make it easier or more comfortable.
They're each a step on each other, aren't they?
Yeah, just to make life as easier as possible, which is starting to have a negative effect. Let's say.
I think I at 41 this year, probably. If I thought I'd sit here 20 years ago saying this, I'd be like, probably sound like someone's dad. But who'd have thought? I don't think. I don't want to call it the soft world we live in, but it doesn't. It's not, and nothing I see fruitful's coming out of trying to make things easy.
No, not necessarily, because I think the doctors and the trainers that are coming out now are saying we should try and go back to the olden days a little bit. Which I kind of understand their point, and like you say, it's not necessarily being soft. It's kind of, especially as we get later in life, you want to try and it's not about living longer; it's living healthy and better for as long as you can.
How good can you make the experience real? I saw a statement yesterday. Most people die at 25 and get buried at 75. Benjamin Franklin, that was.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was Dave Hamlet. No, it was definitely Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, it was Dave Hamlet, right?
Dave Hamlet,
okay.
Did it, yeah. That's an exclusive. But that's real. If you think about it, we do. Most people just die at 25, buried at 75, because in that rat race, I think that's been a bit of a fairly grounding point for me. The military probably helped me do a lot, because it just adjusts the way you think. I live every day like it's my last.
True.
Not always a healthy option.
Yeah. But do you have like, is it quite intense for you then, like living day to day? Because I would see that as potentially like you're just taking it a day at a time. So in a sense, that could be quite calming. I
probably need to put some more. Anyone that knows me, I've always got a plan.
Yeah.
But I think, I'll make the most of every single day we're doing. And also I won't let the plan dictate me too much.
True, that's good.
If we're going to have, like I've been manic for 10 days, and then last night I got a bit boozy on the train on the way home from London. We had a good day, and this morning I've been Scotland, Perth, back, Shrewsbury, London, here. It's like mad. And
so that's a lot.
This morning just like, listen, I'm going to have a couple of hours extra in bed.
That's good.
Without holding myself to like account, thinking, you're going to lose it. So
sure.
When I say that's probably where it comes from. But look, enough about me. What does Nathan TRX do in his spare time?
To be honest, it is all around like health and fitness, to be honest. Even though TRX is kind of day to day, like I've always been involved in fitness in some capacity when I was playing football, and then making a career out of it. So I do enjoy the training aspect.
Football, we need to dig in more about football.
Yeah, go on then.
Tell us.
What do you want to know? So
look at the coyness. There's a bit.
Well, it is, because it's a good story. But it's not a great story. So I was playing for quite a decent level in school.
Yeah.
And then played for my district. An actual fact, it's quite funny now, but it wasn't at the time. So we was around about 13, 14, I think, and Aston Villa scouts were there. And they actually picked my friend to say, would you come to, the summer camps?
Yeah.
But because of our age, it was like, if you want to bring a friend, bring a friend.
You're the plus one.
I was a plus one,
decent.
Right? So I went there with his dad, spent there, and in the end, Villa turned around and says, we want to stick with you.
We want you plus
not
one.
Actually my mate.
Are you friends now?
No, not in terms of because of that, but because life happens, and we've kind of grew apart since then. But his dad wasn't.
That's a long time ago as well, mate. Because I'm going to tell everyone you were 40.
Yeah. So it's a long time ago.
He looks good though.
Oh, thanks.
A couple of boldies. We're doing all right, I think.
Yeah. The hair's gone, but I suppose the Portuguese genes inside it from my dad's side has kept me looking young.
I wasn't sure, is that all the holidays you've been on, or is that just the way you look? Like,
it's the way I look, yeah.
Mr. International,
yeah.
So we've got a bit of Villa heritage.
Yeah.
Family,
but so as I mentioned, my dad was I haven't mentioned, but my dad was originally from Portugal. Moved over to London when he was a kid with his family. Then moved up to Birmingham. Met my mum. I've got a younger brother, 18 months younger than me.
who's harder?
I don't know. We were never like that, to be honest with you. We never. I don't know. No, good question actually. I don't know. Maybe
arm wrestle later.
Yeah, arm wrestle later.
Send us the result.
Like typical family, I suppose, in a sense that it was
like Peaky Blinders.
No, definitely not. We didn't have didn't have blades in our granddad hats. Not at all. No, but it was a dysfunctional family. It said my parents got divorced when I was like 7. So my dad moved away. It was just me, my brother, and my mum.
But look what it's created. I love exploring this stuff. Most people I know similar stories. My parents split up as young.
Yeah,
doesn't need to define us. I think in some ways
not at all.
It probably helps.
It did. Yeah,
character it builds.
People always ask me the question, "Would you have preferred?" And I was like, no chance.
Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing.
No.
I got fucked up quite.
My mum met a great guy as well, and they were together for 20 years, 25 years, and it all worked out really well. So that was good. But grew up in a council estate. We didn't have a silver spoon. Playing Kirby,
Slam.
Yeah, all of that stuff. So just a typical childhood. So sport was a lot of. At the time there was no internet when I was a teenager, especially when I first started secondary school, which is crazy. It was just a lot of football, a lot of sports, a lot of youth clubs on a Thursday night. And again, all you would do is probably try and chat up a few girls, but then play football.
Someone zoom in on that when he goes to football.
Well, I tell you what, it was sprouting when I was 16 and onwards, from any young age. It wasn't great. Let's say that.
So, what's 40-year-old life like for Nath now? Kids?
No, not kids myself, but Kate, who I'm with now, her previous relationship, we've got 2 kids. Yeah. So a 13-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl. So
shout out to those guys.
Yeah, and they're great. So family life. You know, I'd come from Dubai back home.
I've seen the pictures, mate. It's so cool.
And it was kind of like, you know, I had some job opportunities in London, but it's like, do I want to live in central London after being, and it was kind of no. So it was kind of more of the suburb, let's say, from the American suburbs. So we did that, you know, village school for the kids, you know, nice dog walks around the area. So I've got that balance now. I think some of it's his age, because I still like to do the travelling, still like to get involved with the big events that we do, but then also coming home and having, you know, a place where it's a bit chill, family time.
I think that balance gives you such a level of appreciation from being able to. So when I was my career, we were travelling a lot. Coming home, people talk about being in your hometown shit. I used to look forward to it.
No, I think, I don't know, and I could be wrong, but I see that as a young person's game, where it's like, no, I want city life and stuff like that, and I did all that, but then you can't. It's not sustainable, I don't think. So you kind of have to take it back, especially if you want to start a family and stuff like that. And I know people do it in cities. I just couldn't personally do it myself.
It'd be too busy for me. I like being in there and just being able to disappear. So events then. So let's go deeper in them. So when's the summit this year?
So September 21, 2022. We're back in Oxford at the university. So you guys are going to be there. And again, it's a weekend of activities, educational. We'll have a social evening for everyone.
We're going to try and do we training this year?
Yeah, you guys have got to get involved. At least have one session. Yeah, do. Do one session, and then you can say, look, hydration drinks all round for everyone.
Wish you could see his face. I'll do a few with you, I think.
I didn't need to do one. That's it.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to do a bit.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. So we're looking forward to it. We're bringing a new brand as well, PWR.
Yep.
So more to come on that.
Yeah, looking forward to having you guys there for that.
Athens.
That
was big. So
that was in February.
Huge.
Yeah, world records.
World records and stuff.
World records. So that was, you know, the team, you know, Bobby and Marvin, myself. Bobby in particular worked with our distributor in Greece, A to Z Fitness. Antonis runs it. And we had an agreement, let's say, with Ultralife, that's a gym chain out there. We was educating them. We was installing equipment. And I said, what else do you do? We said, oh, yeah, we do summits. Oh, that'd be great to put it on for our teams. Okay, how many trainers? Well, we've got 600 trainers. Okay, fine. So,
huge.
To be fair to them, they sorted it all out. They organised the venue.
Looked mega.
You know, we sorted out the kit. Yeah, so we broke the record of 422 people on all on a suspension trainer each for 30 minutes doing a workout. And that's
is that what it was?
Yeah.
Forgive me, it's not a plank.
Yeah. No, it's not doing a plank.
30-minute workout.
30-minute workout.
I mean, it looked impressive.
On suspension.
The venue.
Venue was so it's the old Olympic, in Athens. So it was at the basketball stadium in particular. It was great. It was a lot of hard work. So credit to everyone. And I was always a little bit concerned because we'd never done an event that big before. Even kind of the frames where the suspension trainers, that was all man-made.
Yeah, I was going to say because
and so you don't know until you get there and you see. So, but actually, it was probably one of the better events in terms of the organisation and the flow that we've had, considering how big it was. So that was great.
Good. And then what other ones do you do? So you've got one. Oh, right. So Miami. Doesn't want to go to Miami, though.
It's not that I don't want to go to Miami. It's that I've been travelling for a bit now. I need a bit of a break. So, yeah, we have in Delray Beach, which is, to be fair, it's about an hour away from Miami, but that's where our HQ is based now.
Yep.
So we're going to have an event there in a week, so beginning of May.
Yep.
We'll obviously have one in Oxford that I've mentioned. We'll have one in Japan. We're also going to go to Namibia in October and doing an event there. We have one in Belgium. We should have one in Australia before the end of the year as well.
Nice.
So quite a few.
Well, it'd be good if we can join you in Australia. Probably need to sell a few more tubs. So if you're watching this, go and buy a tub of hydro, please.
Yeah, let's get you guys to Australia. Buy a tub.
Buy a tub.
Send Dave to Australia.
Yeah. So failing that, the last thing to talk about is we collabed.
Yeah.
Our first major national promotion, I guess. So those who didn't know and are new to watching this, 2 years old as a brand, promotional stuff, bread and butter for me based on my background. Super buzzing to be working on the first one. I think it turned out really well there was you guys, Anytime Fitness, shout out to Gabs, Hyper Ice, so from Jace, big thank you. Nutristore, sorted out some grenade bars. Like I was quite envious I didn't win that. Like a year's supply of grenade bars.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like,
yeah. Saturated
fat or not, like
yeah,
it makes you fitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got, I think it was over nearly 1,500 entries that were actually qualified, which is fairly impressive. 200,000 people we reached. And I mean, yeah, and the guy that won it from Shrewsbury.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's changed his life. I think he's dragging his missus into the gym now because it's gym membership, fitness tests, and all the support from us.
That's what it's all about. Obviously, you're raising awareness, but if it can benefit someone in even a small way, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's good. Failing that, mate, look, it's been a long day. What's this, like your fourth today?
Fourth today, yeah. It's the first time I've done back-to-back ones ever, so...
No music.
No, but I've always got time for you guys. Like, you've been a great supporter of TRX and myself personally, so anything I can do to help you guys is...
Mate, you're more than welcome. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Nice to return the favour.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you later.
Very much, mate. Cheers.